listening to A Scary State. And this week, we're on state number 50. Woohoo! Tennessee. Lauren,
Kenzie.
you ready to get scary?
I am.
All right.
We forgot on our last episode to stay safe, stay scary.
Yeah, but we had a
laugh at the end. Oh, a cheer. We did. So I threw it in. I recorded it on my own and just threw it in there. Okay, I have something creepy to tell you.
Okay.
So this is a couple months ago, like before Christmas time.
Mhm.
I was going to different Orange Theories because it just fit into my schedule. And after I left one, I could not find my heart rate monitor. So it's like a little thing that we wear around our like arm and it counts our heart rate.
Oh, you wear it
level.
on your arm, not your chest?
There's a chest one, but I have the
Oh.
arm one.
Oh, okay.
So I wear it on my arm. So I got home. I could not find it. I looked through my bag multiple times. I searched my entire room. I checked my car. I called the studio. They looked. They couldn't find it. I called the next day asking if they found it. Nothing. It's nowhere. So I thought, okay, I probably had a hole in my bag because it was like a free bag that you get when you buy like shoes.
Yeah.
So I was like, there's probably a hole in my bag. It fell out in the like parking lot. I'm never going to see this again. So then 2 days ago or a couple days ago, I was getting ready for work and I looked down and my heart rate monitor is right there under my bed. Like the one that I had lost. And I was like, because I had to buy a new one. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I put this in my bag. Look downstairs. Sure enough, my new one's in my bag and this one's on the floor. And it's in a spot where it's under our bed. We have like these like containers that hold our clothes and stuff. I have pulled those out multiple times because that's where all of my Christmas stuff is and my Halloween stuff. I've pulled them out multiple times since then. And all of a sudden my heart rate monitor's there. That's weird.
Maybe it had gotten shoved underneath, and then like as you were pulling the thingies out, it got pushed.
But the thing is, I haven't touched under there for a couple months. Like I had been under there since I lost my heart rate monitor, but I haven't been under there in like since December.
And you lost your heart rate monitor.
Like summertime.
Oh.
Yeah. So I lost
that's not weird.
I lost my heart rate monitor summertime.
I thought when you said a couple of days ago, I was thinking
I found my heart rate monitor a couple days ago.
And for whatever reason, I was thinking that was the timeline of like, it was like you lost it a couple days later, you found it.
No, I lost this back in summer, have not been able to find it since. And then all of a sudden it ends up under my bed. Like not under my bed, like pushed under my bed, like right on the outside of my bed where if you're just like standing over the bed, you can see it right there. That's weird.
Not for something to have been lost that long. You're not going to remember what you do with it. It could have dropped somewhere and gotten shoved underneath there and then pushed back out when you're pulling stuff in and out.
No, but the last time I pulled stuff in and out was like December time. I just found my heart rate monitor like 3 days ago.
Didn't you just say you were just pulling the things in and out too?
No, I said a couple months ago was when I was pulling the things in and out. I haven't touched those things under my bed for like at least since December.
So it's been a while since you touched those.
Yes, and then I just found my heart rate monitor 3 days ago.
Maybe it decided to come out.
But why? It's an inanimate object.
Because it knew you bought a new one.
Then it should have come out when I bought it because
Maybe
now
it
we
was
can't return the other one.
Stuck.
But where?
Obviously under the bed.
But how did it get out from under the bed?
Its will to see you again.
Its will to creep me out. Or a ghost was like, I know you needed this like 6 months ago. It's too late now. So now it's just sitting in my drawer. But I thought it was very creepy because I have not seen it for a while.
Yours. If I find something in an odd place and I don't assume ghost.
I do.
I could see that.
But I mean, if it were like any other thing in a random place, I wouldn't think that. But the fact that I searched my bedroom for that when I first lost it back in summer,
Sure.
like searched.
It could have gotten dropped between something somewhere. And then when things got moved in and out and dropped and all that kind of good stuff.
Then it should have come out when I was moving the things.
Or maybe you never know. You're not paying attention the way you pull things out. Maybe not.
I haven't pulled stuff out since December.
I know. I'm just saying. But since then.
No.
Like since you lost it, I mean. Like the in-between.
The in-between is that it was under my bed and it shouldn't have been. If it had been there, it should have been there for a while.
Right. And maybe the way you like pulled the stuff in and out.
Mackenzie, I haven't pulled the stuff out since December.
I'm well aware of that.
And I found it 3 days ago.
Well, what's all the Christmas stuff on your table?
No, that's not the same Christmas stuff that's under the bed.
Is that stuff already put away?
The stuff under the bed is my, like, Christmas clothes. Yeah, that stuff has been put away in December.
So you put it right after Christmas?
Yeah.
So then maybe it just moved around.
But then how did I just see it 3 days ago?
Because it's moving around.
I don't understand what you're saying.
You have all sorts of stuff. Your bed could be moving around. It could have shifted. I don't think someone picked it up and dropped it there.
Ghost could have.
I don't think so.
I think could have happened.
I think out of all the people who are being illogical here, I think it is you.
I just don't know how it got there all of a sudden.
Well, that's the point, because you lost it months ago. You're never going to remember how it got there.
But I haven't seen it for months. That's the thing.
Right. And so when you lose something and don't see it for months, it could have been you weren't thinking and placed it somewhere and then it got knocked over. It could have, like you said, you had a hole in the bag and gotten dropped and, I don't know, somehow got knocked into something. Who knows? Because you haven't seen it for months, you're not going to know how it ended up there.
Right, which I think is what's weird.
I think that's not weird. I think it's like, oh,
I
I
think
haven't
it's
seen
weird.
it for
No,
months.
but it wasn't there the day before.
How do you know?
Because I
You
could
just said
see
you
it.
didn't pull the thingies out.
I know. It wasn't where I'll have to show you where it was. I'll show you right now. Let's
I can see your room.
Okay, fine. I'll show you where I found it. You have to cut this whole part out because I'm going to show you. Okay. Well, you can't see where it. Okay.
You also have a ton of clothes on the floor, but you always have stuff on your floor. I think you just really want there to be a ghost in your house.
No, I'm just telling you. I thought it was really weird.
See, I go the opposite. I wouldn't want that. So I'm going to find a way that it's just shit happens.
A ghost is better than a person.
I would never think a person.
Then there's
would
no
they
other
Your
explanation.
heart rate monitor. Ha ha ha! Son of a bitch! I'm gonna take
Yeah.
your heart rate monitor.
I'm going to do all these
And
creepy
then I'm gonna
things
sneak back
to
into
creep her out. To creep her out.
To commit 2 crimes. I'm gonna steal,
And
and
then
then
I'm gonna
I'm
put
gonna
it
break
back.
into her house, and I'm gonna put it back.
Hey, you don't know. I just think it's creepy and I don't have an explanation for it. Your explanation is not correct.
I didn't say it was. I just said it was more logical.
But it's not.
As someone who loses things regularly and finds them in the most random places, this is not an odd story for me.
But it wouldn't be odd if I had never looked in that spot and then I looked in that spot and found it. The spot where it is, I pass that spot every single day.
Right. I'm saying somehow in the time that you lost it to the time that you found it, with all the things that have been moved over that time and all the things that were on the floor and then got moved off the floor and probably knocked around without even knowing.
But here,
it.
okay, say
it could have gotten
I found it on
moved.
say I found it on Wednesday. I had not moved anything from Tuesday to Wednesday. Nothing moved from
See?
Tuesday to Wednesday. And then all of a sudden, I find it on Wednesday.
You know what? You don't have a ghost, you have a demon. How about that?
I don't want a demon.
Well, you
I'd
can't
rather
pick
have a
and choose.
ghost. Yes, I
You
can.
can't pick and choose what it's gonna be. If we're gonna be making shit up now, I say you have a demon.
Well, then I'm going to send it home with you.
No, it wants to stay here.
No, it
It
doesn't.
likes fucking with you. it doesn't steal my shit.
I'm not the one who has a random sweater.
Yeah, do you know why I have that sweater?
Because a ghost.
Because who said that? You. You did. Again, my first thought,
Again, there's no other explanation.
not a ghost. You know who gave me that idea? That would be you, ma'am. He said, what if it's a ghost?
But we were logical because we thought of everyone who it could have been who left it, and no one we know wears sweater vests.
Correct. And so what actually would have been logical is that it was caught somewhere when someone moved out.
Nah.
And
I don't like that one.
so now I have a ghost and you have a demon.
Okay, but I will say that the ghost makes more sense for you because remember when we asked it to flicker the candle that one day when we were recording at your house and we said, if there's a ghost here, flicker the candle. And it flickered, like drastically flickered. Yeah. Not just like a little, not like a, oh, that could have been the wind flicker. Like that was a flicker.
I think the things that happened at my house constitute more likely I have a ghost than what's going on at yours.
Which is fine. That's fine. Except in Alexandria, I do think we had something weird.
Are you jealous?
I'm not. I don't want a ghost.
You want a ghost in your
I don't want a
house?
ghost.
Do you want me to bring the sweater vest? And
No,
Albert can
God,
come
no.
stay with
I don't
you?
want the sweater vest.
Albert can come stay here.
That's okay.
He wants to work out with you. He wants to be workout buddy. All right, well, if you're going to have a ghost, we're going to name him Tank.
Tank?
Yeah, because he's stealing like your heart rate monitor and shit. He clearly likes to work out. His name is Tank.
The name that popped into my head is Morris, so that can be his last name.
Tank Morris.
Tank Morrison. I think it
Tank
needs a set at the
Morrison.
end.
Yeah. Tank
Okay.
Morris.
Tank Morrison.
All right.
Yeah, that's so creepy.
Him and Albert are besties where you have like the big jock and the tiny
And the nerd. Oh.
nerd.
Okay, so the nerd probably did the big jock's homework for a little bit, and then they became really good friends, and then that
Yeah.
whole like arrangement stopped.
Yeah.
Oh.
Albert taught Tank the ways of haunting.
Mm-hmm.
He's new, which is why
Tank's new?
Yeah, the
Okay.
heart rate monitor thing didn't work out quite so well.
Right, because he waited too long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's still learning how to haunt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's getting there.
As long as he's nice to us and Roy, I'll be good.
Yeah. You would have known by now
If you were mean to Roy.
if he didn't want you here.
Oh, yeah.
Been here enough times. I'm worried Albert won't let me leave.
He's not going to let you. Or he'll just follow you. There is one culture, I can't remember which one it is, but they have this belief that there are like these kind of like mischievous spirits in your house that will take things and then make it reappear, but you're supposed to invite them to your house with you. So like when you move, it's like it's kind of considered rude and bad luck to not invite them to the new house with you. So when you move, you're supposed to invite them with you.
I'll let Albert choose. He won't be uninvited. I'm certainly not going to encourage it.
Well, good thing we don't live in that country where that's the belief.
See, if it was a belief though, and like it was like an everyday thing, that'd be different.
Mm-hmm.
But because it is still technically a belief, but more so because it's like at the end of the day, I'd prefer more for it to not be true than to be true that my house is haunted.
Well, obviously.
So we're going to play it safe and actually invite, but we're not going to encourage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I mean, even when we go on like ghost tours and stuff, they tell us like, do not invite anything home. Do not allow anything to come home with
what
you.
if it's already in your home?
No, this is like when we go to different like haunted places.
Is it still considered like, should you not do it to a new home? Because, if you're not supposed to invite anything home, but you're already at home.
Oh, no, but this is like
Do
if
you
you go,
invite it-
this is
do you
when you
invite
go
it to your
somewhere.
new home?
Well, see, what I'm saying is like when you go somewhere else and you like do a haunted house there, they're like, don't invite any of the spirits
I know,
home.
I'm trying to
So
make
it's-
a joke. It's
so-
not working.
So, no. So you could invite it home, but it's not encouraged.
What do I do if I'm already home and I'm going to a new home? Does it still count?
Shit out of luck.
Did the two homes cancel each other out?
Huh.
See, at first
'Cause
you
you
were
can't-
annoyed.
You can't say don't come home with me because you're already home.
Right.
But then if you say come home with me, you're already home.
Exactly. See?
But at one point, the home won't be your home anymore. Oh, but then you probably won't live there anymore. So I was thinking like when your lease ends, like what if you're moving your last little bits of things out, but no, you wouldn't if your lease ends.
So then it would be inviting it into my home if my lease was ending and I said to come home with
Yeah.
me. Okay.
Then you'd be inviting it to your home.
Okay.
But you wouldn't be in your home if your lease is ended.
What if it's like the last day and I'm like getting the last few things out and technically the lease has ended? Doesn't it? Isn't it like the day move out day is like when your lease ends?
Yeah.
So
But like you still have it till like midnight that day. So you wouldn't be allowed in the next day because then your lease is done. So it like no longer is your house. So you shouldn't have anything there.
but if I invite the ghost before midnight, as I'm taking the last few things out of my house and going to my new house,
I don't understand the logistics of inviting the ghosts home.
I just really like fucking with you and seeing you get flustered.
Roy, biter. Biter, Roy.
Like, I know. What I'm trying to say, I was like, I know what you're trying to
You're
say.
such a pain.
Tell us about Tennessee.
No.
I can. I have it pulled up in front of me too.
Cades Cove.
You can see from there?
Yeah?
That's crazy.
I zoom in.
Still.
I don't keep it as small as the font. You have it. I like zoom in the font.
I zoom in too. I zoom into 125%.
What am I at? Oh, mine just looks like, oh, I don't know. Because I don't like zoom in on the thing. I like do the thing where you can zoom in your like screen.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so I like have my screen zoomed in.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cades Cove is no cove. One of the most popular spots at Great Smoky Mountains National Park. It attracts millions of visitors a year. Cades Cove is actually a forested Tennessee valley surrounded by the mountains and still richly populated with historic settlers, homesteads, and diverse
Did you say
wildlife.
Cave there? Cave?
Oh, I might have said cave. It's a cove, but it's not really a cove.
It's a forested Tennessee valley.
Yeah. The cove is also home to multiple caves. Gregory's Cave was designated as a fallout shelter during the Cold War, ready to hold 1,000 people.
That's not a lot.
That is kind of a lot, 1,000 people in a cave that's in a cove.
I just think about how many people there are in life in general, and that just doesn't seem like it can hold a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, but 1,000 is a lot if you think of it in a smaller grand scheme of things. Not like the grand scheme,
Our
but like
high school was more than 1,000 kids. That would mean that.
but our grade wasn't.
That would mean that, like, if our school had to go there for that to be our fallout shelter, not everyone could fit.
But that's still a lot of people.
Yeah, but it'd be just the high schoolers.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
I don't know. I think it's a lot of people. Touring the valley is only a question of how much time you're willing to spend. An 11-mile one-way loop road encircles the area, which also has more than a dozen hiking and horseback trails. Be on the lookout for the resident white-tailed deer, black bears, coyotes, and turkeys.
Did you know we have coyotes around here?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And they always say, like, as we were growing up, well, I don't know, I've always heard, they're more scared of you than you are of them.
That's what I heard about. I heard the same thing about bugs.
Oh, yeah, I've heard the same thing, too.
But not coyotes. I thought they were just, like, in Arizona.
No.
I thought they were a desert animal.
No.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we have a lot of coyotes around here. Coyotes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
This doesn't seem like a very coyote. I mean, all I think of is the wily coyote.
Yeah.
And he lived in the desert.
That is true.
So that's my reference.
Yeah, no, we got him here.
Well, damn.
Great Smoky Mountains National Park spans over 500,000 acres. The UNESCO World Heritage Site is home to diverse ecosystems. Its old-growth forests, rich with mosses and ferns, host unique species like synchronous fireflies.
It's not often this happens.
Be nice.
Oh, just it feels good to have it happen to somebody else.
And the Smoky Mad
Tom.
That is okay. Sometimes when R's and N's are next to each other, it can look like an M.
You said this last time.
Did I really?
Yeah.
Wow, then it must be really something on my mind.
What you were saying, but you've said this before.
Wow. This must be like, this is a really big thing in my life.
Clearly, it's been a problem. It sounds like we're unlocking a trauma we didn't know we had.
Maybe I should have the computer closer.
It's like a good, like, yard from you.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to move it closer.
I was like, no fucking way can she see.
And the Smoky Mad Tom fish. It's also one of the most
move it. You're weird about moving.
That's why I'm not going to move it yet. I'll move it for my part. It's also one of the most biodiverse temperate forests on Earth. The state amphibian is the Tennessee cave salamander, and this fascinating creature is entirely aquatic and has external gills. It thrives in Tennessee's karst landscapes, particularly in clear, cool underwater streams, making it an indicator of water quality. Reelfoot Lake's cypress-lined waters are a haven for wildlife. It's a critical wintering site for bald eagles and hosts an annual eagle festival. The lake is also home to unique species like alligator gar. I have seen alligator gar. I love Jeremy Wade. He hosts River Monsters, and they talk about alligator gar on there.
What's alligator gar?
It's like a big old fish.
Oh.
Like a big old, like a thing.
A thing?
Like a big old fish thing.
Big girl.
Nestled in the Cherokee National Forest, Blue Hole Falls is a secluded waterfall surrounded by hiking trails rich with Appalachian flora, including rhododendrons and mountain laurels. Do you say Appalachian?
I think it depends on who I'm talking to and the context. I think I switch back and forth.
Yeah.
I think I say Appalachian more than I say
Appalachian.
Appalachian.
I know people get mad, and I'm like, you can't get mad. It's based on where you're from.
Yeah, I don't give a shit one way or another, but
I don't really care either. It's just kind of however I say it at the moment.
Appalachian doesn't feel right.
Appalachian.
But like, it doesn't sound wrong when you say it. It just feels wrong when I say it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Cumberland Plateau covers much of eastern Tennessee, and this region boasts some of the largest contiguous forested areas in the eastern U.S. It includes caves, waterfalls, and rocky outcroppings, and is a hotspot for rare species like the green salamander.
I don't think you understand how good this is making me feel that I have to help you with some words.
I feel like I shouldn't go to work in the morning before we record, because then my brain's all like,
yeah, that's what it is.
It is. That's what we're going to go with, so...
Okay, not gonna lie, the words that you've been having trouble with, I'm shocked that I know and you don't.
I know, right?
I can read them, but don't ask me to spell them.
The Tennessee state wildflower is the passion flower, also known as also called maypop. It's an exotic-looking flower that grows wild in meadows and along roadsides. Its fruit is edible, and it attracts butterflies and bees, contributing to pollinator health.
Oh, contributing?
Is that what I said? Oh my God, contributing to pollinator health. I think I said contributing. It'll be fun when you're editing and you can tell me. Located in Fall Creek Falls State Park, the towering waterfall, Fall Creek Falls, cascades into a lush gorge surrounded by hiking trails. The park is also home to rare bird species like peregrine falcons. Those are the things I meant are the fastest animals. Not the other one. I can't remember what episode we were talking about. I cut it out
the
because
fastest flying bird.
Yeah, I sounded stupid, so I cut it out. I think these are the fastest, like, birds.
That makes sense.
I think
Like
it's these
flying
ones.
birds.
Yeah, like flying birds.
Like when they're actually flying.
Actually, is it the fastest animal?
Would you like to just look it up?
Yeah, we're going to do that.
Can you really compare fastest animals when one runs and one flies?
Yeah, it would just be the fastest, like, animal.
But I feel like it's two very different things.
Well, because they say the cheetah is the fastest animal, so it's faster than any bird.
I thought they said land animal. Like, I thought that they would always specify it's the fastest land animal. The fastest,
Oh, yeah, fastest land animal on Earth.
is a cheetah or the falcon.
No, the cheetah.
Okay.
I think the peregrine falcon gets the term as the fastest bird.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, so it's the fastest bird, and the cheetah is the fastest land animal.
I wonder what fastest reptile, fastest amphibian, fastest fish.
Fastest animal in the water.
Yeah.
At work the other day, we were looking up
non-flying bird.
how fast, like if some of us could outswim other animals. Did you know tunas can swim really, really fast?
How fast?
It's like so a human averages out to, if they're really, really good at swimming, like 5 miles per hour.
Okay.
That's like an Olympic swimmer. So like a normal person's like probably
Freestyle?
3 miles. Tuna is like 35 miles per hour.
Fish can go fast.
They can go really
They
fast.
have that streamlined body.
It's the mako shark is also the fastest. Like fastest swimming.
There
animal.
was this like trend on TikTok for a while that was like, it was comparing the speed of all these different types of animals. And so like one of them was like a shark.
Oh, is it like the video where it
And
shows?
it played Dark Horse in the background.
Okay, nope, didn't see this video.
It was like this, I think it was one person, like they would play Dark Horse in the background and it'd be like, it first would show like this type of shark. And then like a next type of shark would like swim past it.
Okay, I have seen that, but I don't remember Dark Horse being in the background.
Well, because the only reason I remember is because there was multiple videos and every single one of them, that was the song.
Interesting. Maybe I just watched it on silent because I don't remember any sound after, like, with it.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a song with it. That's funny.
Well, when it comes back up on my, like, whatever in Facebook, when I see it in like 3 weeks, I'll let you know.
Girl, this thing is like last year old.
I know. I actually know what you're talking about, but just not the one with the music.
It's probably the same one you just had on silent.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, Tennessee River Gorge is a 26-mile canyon carved by the Tennessee River and is a bird watcher's paradise. It serves as a migratory path for thousands of songbirds and supports species like the cerulean warbler.
I think it's
Cerulean warbler. Lucy is an underground lake in Craighead Caverns that is illuminated by boat tours, revealing crystal clear waters. Its rare cavefish are blind, having adapted to the perpetual darkness. A natural scenic river, the Hatchie River flows through wetlands that are critical for migrating waterfowl and wading birds. It also supports a diverse fish population, including the endangered pallid sturgeon. Tennessee's limestone formations are responsible for the state's hundreds of caves. This sedimentary rock also contributes to the fertile soil that makes Tennessee's valleys lush and green. Limestone is also the state rock. What is our state rock?
I have no idea.
Do we have a state rock?
I don't know.
Siri, what is Virginia's state rock?
Nelsonite is the Virginia state rock.
Nelsonite.
It is a distinctive igneous rock composed primarily of the minerals ilmenite and apatite, and as such it's rich in both titanium and calcium phosphate.
From Klingman's Dome Observation Tower, you can see up to 7 states on a clear day. The Summit Spruce Fir Forest is home to the endangered spruce fir moss spider. Yuck.
Really?
I don't even want to look that up because it's going to scare me.
Yes.
The Cumberland Cavern Cave. When I was getting my tattoo done yesterday, my tattoo artist was like, I have to be honest with you, snakes scare me.
Same, buddy. Same.
He's like, I don't like them. They're kind of creepy crawly. And he was like, I do a lot of snakes. And he's like, I don't like them. And I was like, oh, well, thank you. The Cumberland Cavern Cave System features a 10-acre room called the Volcano Room, where underground concerts are held. Visitors can see rare formations like gypsum flowers and cave pearls. I don't think I would want to be in a cavern or at a concert in a cave.
Why?
Because I feel like there would only be one exit, and that's very dangerous.
Interesting. Not where I thought you'd be going.
What did you think?
That the sound making the walls vibrate would make shit fall.
Ooh, that's a good point. I didn't think that
That's
one.
what I would be nervous about. As I was putting this in, I was wondering, I was like, I wonder if she'd go into that room because it's so big.
Oh, 10 acres, though. There would have to be more than one entrance in a 10-acre room.
Probably.
Oh, then yeah. Yeah, I'd go in.
Well, I just meant in terms of like its size, because I feel like we've talked about caves where they're really small space, like it's like a pancake room or something. And you're like, I would never go in there.
Well, because I've gone into like Luray Caverns.
So you would go into the volcano room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't have to squeeze and there's no possibility of me getting stuck like underground.
Well,
that we know of.
maybe after a concert.
It seems like this is a very big thing that they've done there. Like it's like a common thing.
I'm sure there's only select music that gets played.
No, like none of our like screamo music with people dancing and jumping around.
I don't think
Probably
so.
like bluegrass.
Or like something where people most likely
Acoustic.
just stay seated.
Yeah.
Like a symphony or something.
Yeah. Bringing all the symphony instruments down here.
Maybe just a quartet.
There you go. Just a
Maybe
quartet.
just a quartet.
Spanning the eastern edge of Tennessee, the Cherokee National Forest is divided by the Great Smoky Mountains. It contains scenic rivers like the Nolichucky.
That ends in a Y.
I know.
Why'd you say
Nolichucky. And offers habitat to black bears and wild turkeys.
Nolichucky sounded a lot better than Nolichucky.
Thank you. Maybe that's why I said it. Like subconsciously, I was like, that one sounds different. Some of the hemlocks in Tennessee's virgin hemlock forests are over 500 years old. These ancient trees provide critical shade for trout streams, supporting aquatic life. Found in the Elkmont area of the Smokies, the synchronous fireflies flash in unison during mating season. The phenomenon attracts thousands of visitors annually and is a rare natural wonder. That sounds pretty.
Do you know what synchronous means?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know why. My brain doesn't want to say synchronous. It wants to like pronounce that differently.
Like it's...
I don't know why. My brain just doesn't want to pronounce it the way it's supposed to be pronounced. It wants to pronounce it some different way.
That's what my brain does all the time.
So you understand the struggle.
No, now you understand the struggle.
You get it. Yeah. Tennessee's rivers, such as the Duck and Clinch rivers, are globally significant for their biodiversity. They host more than 300 fish species and 100 species of freshwater mussels. Interesting. The Ochoee River's Class 3 and 4 rapids make it a top destination for adrenaline seekers. The nearby Ochoee Whitewater Center offers hiking and biking trails as well. The Rowan Mountains is an Appalachian gem that has 360-degree views from its grassy blades, which are treeless due to grazing and unique environmental conditions. Its rhododendron blooms draw crowds every June. The Savage Gulf rugged wilderness areas feature sandstone cliffs, ancient rock shelters, and waterfalls like Greater Falls. It's also home... Greater Falls?
I just feel like it'd be EA. Like EE does say the long E sound.
Okay, well, I said it a different way for you, so you can edit it perfectly.
Oh, I'm keeping them both. Keeping in this whole conversation. So people know that we did try to...
We tried both ways.
We tried both ways, and we tried reasonableness using actual spelling patterns. So if people be like, you said it wrong, be like, you spelled it wrong.
Yeah. It's also home to rare plants such as Cumberland sandwort and Tennessee yellow-eyed grass.
There's just some plants that just have terrible fucking names.
Again, like I've said before, they sound like they should be in a witch's potion.
Yes, they probably are.
Probably.
Anything with wart is definitely in a witch's
Or
potion.
eyed.
Yeah.
Yellow-eyed grass. That sounds creepy.
The grass has eyes.
The
Isn't that a movie?
The hills have eyes.
Close.
It's slightly different.
Well, technically the grass on the hill
The
would have
grass
those
have
eyes.
eyes.
It's the grass on the hill, right? Does the hill itself, or is it... Never mind. I'm just going to stop myself.
It's people hiding in the hills.
But it's not an actual, like, hill with eyeballs.
No.
Mm.
Unfortunately, they really missed a good
I
opportunity
was
there.
just about to say that. What spooky tea you pouring?
Okay, so you know how I love my disappearances.
Yes.
And you know how I love my disappearances in wooded areas.
Yes.
So I am covering disappearances in the Great Smoky Mountains.
Nice.
Established in 1934, straddling Tennessee and North Carolina, is the Great Smoky Mountains National Park.
What an odd word.
Straddling?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially describing a mountain.
I know, isn't it good?
Okay, calm down.
With over 10 million people visiting every year, the Great Smoky Mountains Park is one of the most visited parks in the U.S. In 2021, around 14 million people visited the park. That's a lot.
Way more than 1,000.
Shut up. The park encompasses, like you said, over 500,000 acres and includes mountains, rivers, forests, caves, and waterfalls.
I didn't say anything,
The notes did.
but you said it.
Okay, I read the notes that you wrote. It is also home to many different animals like elk, black bears, bobcats, coyotes, and deer, among many others. The Cherokee word for the area, Chicanaway, means place of blue smoke, and the mountains got their name from the fog or smoke that often blankets the landscape, especially early in the morning and following rain.
That's why the Blue Ridge Mountains are named the Blue Ridge Mountains, because
Oh,
they look blue.
yeah, they do. So their whole smokiness occurs because the humidity in the area mixed with the dense forests of evergreens and deciduous trees. So when moisture from the plants evaporates and encounters cooler temperatures at higher altitudes, this condenses into fog or mist. This mist then creates the appearance of smoke.
Nice.
So enough science, we'll move on to the park. So while the park is beautiful, it also has its scary side. Overall, thousands of people are reported lost or missing in national parks every year. Cynthia Hernandez, the National Park Service spokesperson, said that up to July 22nd, 2024, more than 2,000 people have been at the center of search and rescue incidents in national parks in 2024.
Like all of them,
Yeah.
not
So-
just specifically this one.
Correct.
Okay.
There have been over 2,000 people who have been searched for.
Wow.
The
In a
national
year.
in 1 year. Well,
Or up to that point.
yeah. In 2024.
Oh, wow.
So she said that she gave that statistic in July,
Yeah.
but so far up until July of that year, there have been 2,000 people.
So 6 months, not even a full year.
Yeah.
Wow.
The National Park Service has a list of 25 cold cases on its website, with 4 of those being from the Great Smoky Mountains. The park with the highest number of missing people on that list has 10 missing people, cold cases. What park do you think that is?
I'm assuming one in California.
Yosemite. So they have 10 cold cases.
Isn't it the biggest?
I think so.
Yeah.
The National Park Service doesn't keep record of how many go missing in their parks each year.
They don't keep track?
They keep track of the cold cases. They don't keep track specifically of, oh, these people have gone missing.
So could that number... Oh, that was just for people they searched for, not necessarily people that are missing.
Correct.
Oh,
People who had
okay.
searching incidences.
Wow.
So
Okay.
they don't keep track of who specifically has gone missing.
Yeah.
But they've counted these are the search efforts that we've had to go out for. So they don't have a
Okay.
list 40 people
So
have gone
obviously-
missing in November.
Yeah, so the number of people that have gone missing probably far outweigh the number of people they searched for.
Could be, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. But information from WATE-TV Knoxville said that in 2022, 11 people have, up until 2022,
Okay.
11 people have died in the park, so the Great Smoky Mountains, and
Ever.
5
Ever?
that they have recorded.
Got it.
Yeah, that they have knowledge of.
Okay.
And 5 have gone missing and have never been found. So they can go missing, but if they're found, then they're not going to be counted in that cold case thing.
That makes obviously.
Right. And while it's not officially reported, there are accounts of people who have gone missing in the Smoky Mountains. So I'm going to go over who some of these are. So we have Trenny Lynn Gibson, who disappeared on October 8th, 1976 at the age of 16 while on a field trip with her high school. She was last seen hiking with her group back from Andrews Bald Trail to the parking area of Koohai, formerly known as Klingman's Dome. Oh, we talked about that in our intro too. They were half a mile away from the parking area when she disappeared. At first, people thought she was trying to cross country to the parking lot. So I think instead of taking the trail to the parking lot, kind of cut through the woods to get to the parking lot faster. If found today, she would be 64.
Whoa. Pause.
Is it because it was on a field trip?
Yes.
Yeah.
If the fact that there is what bro, I mean, I get it. The 70s were a whole hell of a lot different than now. And I know high school compared to the elementary school, but when I tell you that my most anxious day is field trip day
Mm-hmm.
because I am so scared I'm going to leave one of those motherfuckers behind.
Joe got left behind
Exactly.
at a field trip.
That explains so much.
And he said he went to the bathroom or he went somewhere. And he came back and he was like, where is everyone? And then he said he sees one of the chaperones running up to him and crying and hugging him and is like, oh my God, thank God you're okay.
Right. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. There's a conspiracy there. There's some things amiss because you're not on a freaking field trip. I don't care when it is. And you just half an hour before your group gets back, oh, she's just gone.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No. Someone needs to make a Netflix documentary about that because there is some cover up. There's something going on because that's crazy. I thought like maybe she just like went in, got lost. But the fact that she was on a fucking field trip, which
Mhm.
means that there were multiple
There are people around her. Yeah.
with-
She was like walking back with a group.
but the group comes back and they're like, where is she? And they're like, not with us.
I think what happened was how one of the articles I read made it sound was that like, here's the path, here's the parking lot, but there's woods in between. So the path maybe like veers around. She seemed like she went straight through the woods. So like instead of taking the whole path, like a longer route around to get like to the parking lot on the path, just kind of cut through to a
Again,
straight way to the parking
Another
lot.
red flag because as a good chaperone, you would have been like, no.
But I
you
wonder if
can't.
there were chaperones like that in 1976 or if it was a kind of thing where it's like, go off, hike, meet back here at like 3.
I'm sure, but like it's crazy. It's just crazy to lose a child on a field trip and it's just a little blurb in your
I know.
that's
Well, because the other 2 that I cover are also wild. I cover 2 main ones. These are like your little like intros.
crazy that this is an intro.
Then we have Dennis Martin's case. His is the oldest missing person case in East Tennessee. On June 14th, 1969, 6-year-old Dennis disappeared while playing hide and seek in Spencefield. He went behind a bush and was never seen again.
Oh.
If
no.
found today, he would be 62 years old. So this one's creepy because it was like he went behind the bush. He was playing hide and seek with his family, so he went to hide behind a bush and his family like saw him go behind the bush. And then when they went to go find him, he like wasn't there. Then we have Derek J. Lukine. He was 23 years old when he was last seen leaving a hotel in Cherokee, North Carolina on March 3rd, like right where, like, because the Tennessee, it straddles. His car was found parked in the lower lot of the Newfoundland Gap at the state line. He would be 37 if found today. So it's clear he went into the woods and just never came back. William Bradford Bishop Jr. is not included on the list of cold cases, but it is believed he too disappeared in the Great Smoky Mountains. What? Why is your face like that?
Because I just watched the HBO People Investigates episode about the Bishop family.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So for people who don't know, he disappeared in March of 1976 and in 2014 was added to the FBI's most wanted list. According to the FBI, he was last seen at a sporting goods store in Jacksonville, North Carolina. He allegedly bludgeoned his wife, mother, and 3 sons to death in Bethesda, Maryland. His car was found more than 2 weeks later in the Elkmont area. The FBI said that he was charged with murder by the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office in Rockville, Maryland, and federally with unlawful flight to avoid prosecution. In 2014, the FBI believes that Bishop may have assumed a new identity and is hiding in plain sight. If found today, he would be 88.
That's crazy. I just watched that.
That is
episode.
crazy.
And it was really interesting too because the way that they started it out was this woman, she was adopted. And so she was trying to obviously figure out who her family was doing the whole 23andMe stuff.
Yeah.
And that famous like genealogist who's like helped out with a bunch of crimes.
yeah.
She like helped this woman find her family. And before he married this person and had these kids,
Mm-hmm.
he had met this woman's mom
Oh my gosh.
and had her. And so she's one of his kids, but
Wow.
she wasn't obviously there like when it happened.
Right.
But like imagine.
No. That's
Like-
insane. So side note, the FBI says anyone with information about Bishop and where he might be should contact the nearest FBI office or American embassy or consulate. Just a heads up.
That was also on the HBO Max episode.
So there are 2 more people who I will be covering in depth today. So the first is Mike Hearon. So in 2008, Mike was a 51-year-old father of...
I thought you said my Karen.
Oh. Mike Hearon.
Oh my God, I was so wrong. Mike Heron.
This is a man.
It was like, you're Karen. And I was like, oh, maybe that's her name. And then you said Michael. And I was like, wait a minute. I thought we were talking Karen. Okay.
No, Mike Heron.
Got it.
He was a 51-year-old father of 2 adult sons, Andy and Matt. He owned a successful construction business where he worked with his 2 sons. He was described as very animated, a social guy with a big laugh who was able to get along with most people. He owned a condo in Maryville where he spent most of his work week. But on the weekends, Mike enjoyed spending his time in Tallahassee, where he owned 100 acres of land. And for a second, I thought that was Tallahassee, and I was like, I swear I'm looking at Tennessee. It's Tallahassee.
Well, I mean, and plus every state has like,
the same.
yeah.
His acreage was in an area known as Happy Valley, which is adjacent to the boundary of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Happy Valley is a valley, so it's a fitting name. It's a mix of dense forests and farmland and is a small, close-knit community. And Mike knew the area well. He grew up here and also lived here, tending to his farm, cattle, and chickens.
Isn't that where the ranch stuff comes from? No, that's Hidden Valley. Never mind.
I don't think Hidden Valley is a real place.
I don't know.
Kenzie. His parents also lived very close by, like 5 minutes away. So Mike made it a point that when he visited Happy Valley, he would inform his parents of his plan and usually stop by his parents' house to say hi while he was in the area.
See, if I lived there, I'd be a cynical bitch and be like, who decided this place was fucking happy?
He liked it. It was his happy place.
I know, I just want to.
You just want to watch the world burn. So our story begins on Saturday, August 23rd, 2008. That morning, around 9:30 a.m., Mike called his oldest son, Andy, and told him that he had to swing by his house to pick up a lawnmower and trailer that he, Andy, and his other son, Matt, shared.
How old is Mike at this time?
Mike is 51 at the time.
Okay. He had kids young?
I mean, if his sons are like 20, 25, then he had them when he was like 25-ish.
I just think of my life at 25, and to me, that's young.
In that regard, yes. My mom had me when she was 29, and I was thinking, oh my God, you were like a full mom by my age.
Thankfully, I still have a few years until that happens.
Until 35?
Yeah, until like I'd be like, oh, I'm now the age that my parents had me.
Oh.
I got some time for that.
Oh, yeah, no, I passed mine. So he told Andy that he was planning to head to his Happy Valley property to mow some tall, unkept grass that had accumulated on a neighbor's property. Andy said that was fine, and they ended their call. He then called his son Matt to tell him of the plan as well and that he would be spending the weekend at the property. Matt didn't answer, so Mike left a voicemail. The reason Mike had to call before he left his house was because cell service in the area was awful. He relied heavily on his home phone when he was in Happy Valley.
And what year is this again?
2008?
Okay.
Yeah, 2008.
So cell phones are like a thing.
They're a
like,
thing.
The
but,
coverage like we have these days.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. He went over to Andy's house to grab the lawnmower and passed Andy on the road as he made his way there. So the two waved. At around,
he talked to Andy on the phone?
Yeah, he talked to Andy.
And
he left a
message
voicemail for Matt. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
At around 11 a.m., neighbors saw Mike pull into his farm property. Then 15 to 30 minutes later, they saw him leave the property. He was driving a green Yamaha Wolverine ATV. Mike waved at his neighbors. Mm-hmm. He's going into the woods, so he has his ATV.
And this isn't... Okay.
What?
And this is at the
Happy Valley
property.
Mm-hmm.
This is not where he lives.
So he spends his weekends at Happy Valley.
Okay, so when you say his neighbors, you mean the neighbors that are like at the property, not...
Like, just like neighbors who live around the property.
Yeah, he has two homes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and we're at the second home.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're his weekend home. Maryville is his like work week home. Happy Valley is his happy weekend place.
Okay. I'm just trying to like get it squared away. So it's like he's probably already driven there, settled, and is using the ATV.
Yeah, to go into the woods.
Okay, because I was like, why do you not have a truck?
Oh, yeah.
I thought he like drove the ATV.
No.
there.
He drove his truck to his home.
Okay.
Got on his ATV, and his neighbors are seeing him take his ATV into the woods.
Okay. I'm with you now.
Mike waved at his neighbors as he made his way down the one-lane Bell Branch Road. So the next morning, on Sunday, August 24th, Alma, Mike's mother, called Matt around 2 p.m. She said that neither she nor Verl, her husband, Mike's father, Alma and Verl, they hadn't been able to get in touch with Mike that weekend, which was unusual, especially if he planned to stop by their property after visiting his own. Alma continued on that she had tried to call Mike and didn't get an answer, that all of her calls had gone to voicemail. She also hadn't received a call back. So she and Verl had walked over to Mike's house, which was only about 5 minutes away, and knocked on the door, but they still got no answer.
And that's because he's at the property house.
This is his house. Like, this is his Happy Valley house.
Oh, I thought his parents lived near the other one.
No, they live at Happy Valley.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah. So we're all Happy Valley here. You don't have to worry about the other house right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So put that out of your mind for a second.
And it does have a working landline. It just doesn't have good cell service.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So he'll make a lot of phone calls will be made like in the house. Then
Right.
he goes out, all of that stuff.
But essentially, he'd have to be home to make a phone call.
Correct.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. So when they got to his house, they noticed that his truck, trailer, and mower were all still in the driveway, with the mower still loaded onto the trailer. At first, neither Andy nor Matt were too concerned. They figured that Alma was overreacting a bit. They figured that Mike was off in the woods hunting or maybe just exploring, and that he had lost track of time.
Which it would be weird if they were still on there because he got there the day before.
Mm-hmm.
So he would have unloaded everything by that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also assured Alma that Mike knew the woods. He had intricate knowledge of the surrounding woodland as he had grown up there. They reminded her, too, that Mike had even worked as a park ranger for a bit. It was very unlikely that he got lost and needed to be rescued. The next day...
Fair.
Yeah, right. Like, if you're
Yeah.
a park ranger, like, you know those woods.
Well, and like, you're growing up in that area. I can see why the kids didn't think anything of it. We know
Right. Because
what time
we're
he got-
talking about it.
right
Yeah.
when we got there. I'm like, no, guys, you don't understand. He had already been there.
Right. The next day, around 8:30 a.m., Alma called the boys again, this time in a very panicked state,
So
telling
now
them...
we're Monday or Sunday?
We are Monday.
Okay.
We are Monday. Telling them that she had not been able to get in touch with Mike. She told them that she feared something was wrong. So at this point, Matt and Andy were starting to get worried themselves, especially as their father hadn't shown up for work that morning. So they decided to drive down to Happy Valley themselves and check things out. So they first stopped at Mike's Maryville condo, where he should be during the week,
Okay.
where they didn't notice anything amiss.
Okay.
The only thing missing was Mike's truck, which they knew was at his Happy Valley property,
Right.
because he drove his truck to the
To the
property.
property.
Okay, so now you can forget about Maryville for the rest of your life.
Okay, thank you.
They made their way to the farm and found Mike's truck in the driveway. But from the looks of the truck, it looked as if he had pulled the truck in and gotten out, not that he had ever returned to the vehicle. But what was weird about his parking spot was that he allowed a school bus to park on his property, but his truck was blocking the spot he had assigned for the school bus.
Oh, interesting.
So he knows the bus is going to be there, so he wouldn't block it.
So like, even if like he had pulled in and stopped it there, maybe to unload something,
he would have
gone
it.
back to move it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Looking into the truck, because the windows were rolled down, Matt and Andy found Mike's keys, cell phone, and wallet.
So in the truck.
Yeah. So he
Wow.
has a cell phone, but again, cell phone service isn't great.
Right.
Cash was still in the wallet, and none of his cards or license were missing. There were also reports that say that his gun had been left in the vehicle. His new ATV was also missing. The green one neighbors had seen him ride out on.
I wonder if, I mean, I'm sure people in Tennessee have all sorts of different kinds of guns, but I'm like wondering, like, would he have taken a different one, like a rifle or something?
I have no idea how many guns he has, like, in general, so I'm not sure.
Because I'm like, if you're going in the woods, you're a farm woods guy, you'd take your gun with you.
Right.
So I wasn't sure if, like, that's not super weird because he has other ones, or like he literally left everything behind that he could possibly need.
I think it's more that one.
Okay.
The more the boys searched, the more concerned they grew. They hopped on one of their dad's older ATVs and started driving around the property looking for any signs of their dad.
Sorry, second question. Is the ATV, because the property's so big, like to just go around?
A lot of times when people have property in the woods, your car's not going to be able to do
Right.
it, so you have your ATVs.
To like check on things around the
Yep.
property. Okay.
Yep.
So, because I wasn't sure. I was like, was he just going for like a joyride, or was like he.
I mean, he would do that too, because he
Right.
just liked exploring the woods.
Exactly. So that's why I
Mhm.
wasn't sure. Was it one of those, or was he staying on the property and like looking into things? Like
What
which
I
one
think it was that he was taking the ATV to go look at his neighbor's property that he was going to be mowing,
Oh,
like get an
okay.
eye on it, then come back, grab the mower, and then go out again.
Okay.
That's kind of how I think. Like that's what I think his plan would have been based
Especially
on like
if
how I
his
read
neighbors
things.
see him. Like if he's going on his own property, would his neighbors necessarily see him?
It depends on where the property lines are, but yeah, like because he's going down one of the roads to get over to like another part of the property.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So they hopped onto one of their dad's older ATVs and started driving around looking for any signs. They were pretty familiar with the trails on the property, so they figured they could ride those and that they would pretty quickly find their dad.
Do we know how many acres it is? I know it's like a farm, so I'm assuming it's got to be big.
100 acres.
100 acres. Okay, yeah.
100-acre wood.
Huh? Oh my God. If he didn't name it that, if I get any land for whatever crazy reason that I'm buying land and it's 100 acres.
It would be called the 100-acre wood.
Actually, if it was 1 acre. In fact, even if a half an acre, I'd call it the half-acre wood.
Oh, absolutely. So as they're driving through looking for him, their first thought and concern was that Mike had hurt himself while on the ATV and was maybe unconscious in the woods somewhere.
Yeah.
They finally came upon the property that their dad said he was going to mow, so the neighbor's house, but they noticed that the grass had not been trimmed as planned. The boys looked but could not find their dad, so they called the police around 4 p.m. that Monday afternoon.
Did they talk to the neighbor?
The neighbor was out of town.
Oh.
Mhm.
Damn.
The Blount County Sheriff's Office finally arrived around 6 p.m., but less than an hour after they arrived, it started to rain, and it continued to rain for several days.
Damn.
The rain could have potentially erased any tracks or hits that the search dogs may have had or needed.
Yeah.
But despite the rain, the next day, the search continued with over 100 people in attendance. This included people from the Blount County Sheriff's Office, National Park Service, Tennessee Wildlife Agency, and the Blount County Fire Department. Throughout the search, over 400 acres of land was searched, some of it more than once, along with 50 miles of trails. On Tuesday...
Including his land.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Is it 400 including his land or 400 plus his land?
I think probably 400 including his land.
Yeah.
So his land, which is 100, and then 300 more.
Yeah.
Because, like, how I think of it, because we have a friend who lives out in the woods, like,
Right.
your property isn't just a square.
Right.
You know, like, your
It's like a-
property kind of, like, zigs and zags into
Yeah.
other property. So I feel like in order to cover, like, the further pieces of property, you're
Yeah.
also covering other people's land.
I'm assuming we don't find out what happened.
I'll keep going and we'll see.
Okay.
On Tuesday, August 26th, the sheriff's office officially launched the formal search for Mike and implored the help of local media and the public to be on the lookout for Mike and his missing ATV. A description of Mike and his ATV were provided, as well as what he had last been seen wearing and other distinguishing characteristics. At this point, family, friends, and volunteers were still out searching.
And at this point, it's been like, what, over a week?
No. So he went missing on like Saturday-ish. This is Tuesday.
Oh, I thought you said it was raining.
It rained 4 weeks after, but right now we're at Tuesday.
Oh, so we went back a little bit.
Yeah. We like went forward to tell you, oh, it's going to rain for a long time.
Yeah.
But now we're back to like searching on Tuesday. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're only on Tuesday. So missing on Friday, Saturday time.
Yeah.
We're on Tuesday.
Okay.
Helicopters, drones, dogs, and even citizens on horseback hunted for signs. Ponds on the property were dragged by divers, but still nothing. Then around noon on the 26th, Mike's ATV was found by a family friend between Mike and his neighbor's properties, about a mile from Mike's home and just steps away from the Great Smoky Mountain National Park boundary. It seemed to have been pushed down a steep hill into thick brush, but in a way that it appeared as if whoever had been driving had jumped off in a hurry or had abandoned it last minute. And though it still had gas in it, the battery appeared to have been nearly drained. It was found in high gear with the ignition turned on and the kill switch turned off. But there were no signs of damage to indicate that it had been in an accident. And I'll explain more about the on and off like a little bit later, so it'll make a little bit more sense.
Like accident prior to it falling off the cliff?
So it says there were no
road?
signs of damage. So they believe that it hadn't been in an accident and that it hadn't been involved in an accident, like it had only gone down the cliff.
Oh, and just kind of like rolled to a stop?
Yeah.
Oh.
Matt and Andy didn't understand why Mike's ATV would have been found where it was, because this wasn't a spot that their father usually went, and not even a spot where their father should have been in the first place.
Even though it's between the two properties?
Like there was no reason for him to be over there. Like it's not a spot that he's ever gone before, and not really a spot that he would be in.
It's more of like a travel through spot?
It's just not even a spot that he goes to. It's just like kind of on the side of the stuff.
Oh,
so
okay.
he doesn't need to go there to get to his neighbor that he's going to mow.
Oh, okay.
It's
So
just
it's
not
really out of the way.
Yeah, really out of the way. They also knew that their father would never leave the ignition on, as Mike knew that would drain the battery. Search efforts continued as Blount County deputies and 50 volunteers fanned out in an area around where the ATV had been found. This area, though, was thick with vegetation, making the search very difficult. The area also was so remote that the sheriff's office had to set up mobile cell towers so the search crews could communicate with each other during the search.
Wow.
Tracker dogs were brought in, but no scent trails were detected. A nearby cave, that we now know has a lot of caves, Mike knew about this cave. That cave was also searched, but still absolutely no clues were found. After finding literally nothing, the sheriff's office called off the search for Mike on Friday, August 29th. So months passed with no advances on this case until January 2009, 5 months since the first search was called off. Emergency workers had resumed searching the backcountry of land near the farm. I don't know why. For some reason they did. Due to the weather, leaves and foliage had cleared from the area, so finding new clues was possible. Which that could be why. It was during this search that, near the site where the ATV had been discovered, an item of clothing was found. Bones were also discovered in a fire pit close to the ATV site as well. Both were sent for further examination, but it was concluded that the clothes did not belong to Mike, and neither did the bones.
Oh.
The bones were actually bovine in nature.
Oh.
The search was again called off.
Animal bones.
Yeah. So as we always do, we have some theories. We, of course, have the more outlandish ones that blame aliens, Bigfoot, or even feral people as being responsible. But some other practical ones have also come through. So one being suicide, though this was quickly ruled out early on. His family insisted that he had no reason to end his life. His financials and businesses were searched with nothing illegal or nefarious coming
You
up.
didn't tell people where you were going.
You
didn't tell people where you were going.
Right. And kind of along this line, the other theory is that he chose to disappear. So they're saying it was suicide or he chose to disappear. The suggestion with this one is that he was depressed and chose to walk away from his life. But again, with this and the suicide theory, that according to his friends and family, he was just a happy guy.
How many people have actually, like, this is always a theory. That they
Always.
How many times has that actually happened?
Right. And especially in 2008, that's not easy.
Right.
Yeah.
Like 1930, sure, you could do that. But 2008?
Yeah.
No.
So his sons had just gotten married, which he was very excited about. He was also looking forward to becoming a grandpa one day. So there's he has these things that he's looking forward to. They also said that their dad showed no signs of depression, no financial worry, nothing that could explain him wanting to walk away or take his own life.
And I feel like, too, you've like the whole mowing the lawn thing. I think of like, oh, he made an obligation to somebody.
Right.
Like you're making plans, like that
Mhm.
kind of thing. I don't know. I just don't think you would do that.
Yeah. Another theory suggests that maybe he did get into an accident while riding on the ATV. This theory goes that maybe he was riding too fast or hit an object that ejected him from the ATV, causing serious injuries. Maybe he wandered off into the woodlands disoriented, and that is where he succumbed to his injuries. Those who are familiar with ATVs say that it was weird that the ignition switch was left on. They say that it may indicate that Mike had fallen off the vehicle while riding, and the vehicle continued on its trajectory before resting where it was ultimately found. But to go against this one, there should have been signs or damage to the ATV if it had just kind of cruised off course, and there wasn't any. And again, how has his body never been found if he did like kind of wander in and succumb to
Right.
the injuries?
Because he wouldn't have been able to get that far.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no direct evidence of foul play, but also no evidence against it.
Right.
There's just like no evidence at all. One theory is that Mike's property neighbored a plot of land that was owned by Christian missionaries who spent most of their time out of the country. Mike had an agreement with them where he would mow part of their property in exchange for hay to feed his cattle. So those are the neighbors. So he mows their lawn, they give him hay. They're usually out of the country, which is why he's mowing their lawn for them.
Okay, got
Which,
it.
so when you asked about the neighbors, they're most likely out of the country at this point.
Yeah.
So that is the property he was supposedly heading to. This theory says that maybe Mike happened upon some kind of illegal activity at the property or on his way to the property and was killed. Matt said, quote, if he saw someone breaking into a house or trespassing, he would not have hesitated to confront them. He was a strong man, tough as nails, and he wasn't afraid of anything.
Yeah, maybe if like someone else knew that they went out of town a lot
Ooh, maybe.
and like they were trying to, I don't know, pull off a robbery or some shady shit and he showed up.
Or maybe something happened as he was heading to the property and
Yeah.
he saw something on the way.
Yeah.
So the dense woods of the forest could provide perfect coverage for an illegal marijuana growing business or some other drug-related activity. But there's no evidence that criminals use this area for criminal things.
All you have to do to find marijuana stuff is just look at electricity bills. Because you got to leave those lights on all the time.
Unless you do it just out in the woods. Because in Bates Motel, the show that we like, they would go into the woods and they had like a marijuana growing field.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it actually out in nature. I've only ever
In like someone's home.
well, it's the only place I've really ever seen it.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it works out in nature.
If it's been out in nature, it's been like in a movie, and I just assume those things are never accurate.
Yeah, right. There's really no way for us to know.
Right.
Quote, we know everything there is to know about Mike Hearon, except where he is, Sheriff Jim Broig said. I've never seen such a high-profile case with so few clues. Both of Mike's sons believe that their father's disappearance was a result of foul play. Each year, the family holds an annual hike for Mike to bring awareness to his disappearance, and the numerous hikes have yielded nothing. No footprints, no bits of torn clothing, no obvious trails, no blood, no tissue, no bone, nothing. Within
I
the
wonder,
past,
too, if there's places they can't check because it's private property.
I don't know. I feel like with them being able to search 400 acres, I feel like probably that's not the case. Just because I feel like, too, if your neighbors are like, you know, our dad's missing, can we search your property? If you have nothing to hide, you're going to say absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know. But within the past couple years, the hike has come to an end. A brief description of Mike at the time of his disappearance. He was 51 years old. He is white, approximately 5'10", and around 185 pounds in weight, with dark brown hair and hazel-colored eyes. He has a tattoo on his lower back, an appendectomy scar on his abdomen, a scar between his thigh and knee, and another scar on the back of one knee. He also has a snake bite on one foot, which is slightly smaller than the other. At the time he disappeared.
His foot?
Yeah.
Okay.
At the time of his, this is like what it said, like, like the Charlie Project.
Yeah.
At the time he disappeared, he was last seen wearing a faded red t-shirt, khaki cargo shorts, and sandals. If you have any information.
So it was warm out.
Yeah, it was.
And winter
it was summer.
has now gone through.
Well, we've
You
gone
said 5
many
months
years.
later. I mean, initially when you were talking about
With the clothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have any information about the 2008 disappearance of Mike Hearon, please contact the Blount County Sheriff or the Crime Tip Hotline, which we will provide in our show notes. There is also currently a $35,000 reward for information on this case.
Wow.
So what do you think happened? And what's weird is there's been no signs, like literally no signs.
It's always so hard in wilderness because there are so many factors that play into it. I mean, he could, if he died from elements and then was ripped apart by different animals, he could be scattered all over the place.
Right. But then the bones would be somewhere.
That's the thing. Like, whenever there's these kinds of disappearances, especially nature or otherwise, and they're just gone.
Mm-hmm.
And like, yes, some time had passed. I think when it's like that, I don't think they're in the woods.
Yeah, you don't think they're there anymore?
No, I think if foul play happened, they were taken out of the woods.
Yeah.
Like, I think they were taken somewhere else.
So you think he like encountered foul play?
Yeah, because if you have that many people looking, only a few days after he probably went missing,
Right.
400 acres,
Mm-hmm.
someone is not going to travel that far and be like, okay, I'll dump it here instead of wherever.
Right.
Like, you're going to move it. You might move it far away.
Yeah.
You know, especially if they knew they were going to search the area,
Mm-hmm.
then they probably wouldn't leave him out.
Yeah.
They might like leave him somewhere else and then dispose of him.
I think the brothers are on the same track as you, where they're like, it was definitely foul play.
Yeah.
Like he saw something that he wasn't supposed to see and it was foul play.
I mean, that could make sense, especially if he was going to someone's house who is out of town a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially if it's not an every weekend thing that he does.
Right.
And, you know, if another person finds out, oh, hey, these people are out of town. I don't know how well off they were, but maybe they think they could easily score something and he walks in on it.
Yeah.
I mean, a mile from his house, a lot can happen between that.
Oh, yeah.
So who knows?
But yeah, so he has never been found.
Crazy.
So the next and last person I will cover today is Thelma Polly Milton. So Thelma Pauline Polly McAllister was born on February 26, 1923 in Alabama.
Relation to Kevin McAllister.
Correct. She was one of 6. When Polly was older, she was often described as friendly, intelligent, and generous.
So she doesn't go by Thelma?
No.
Oh.
She goes by Polly.
Excuse me.
She also loved the outdoors and was an avid hiker. In 1975, Polly married a man named Robert, who was 20 years her senior. He was also her second or third marriage. Polly had no children, but Robert, Bob, had 2 adult sons from a previous marriage. They moved to Jacksonville, Florida, spending most of their time there, but each fall they would live in their Airstream trailer in North Carolina's Deep Creek campground near the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Yes, campsite is North Carolina, but it happened in the Smoky Mountains, so we're counting for Tennessee.
I was just going to say I didn't know there was a Deep Creek in North Carolina.
Oh. At the time of her disappearance, Polly smoked 2 packs a day and was on medication for nausea and high blood pressure.
Well, I can imagine she's smoking 2 packs today.
Right. She was also no longer permitted to drive alone for undisclosed reasons.
Okay.
So while in North Carolina, Polly stayed busy. She frequently volunteered at the Bryson City Presbyterian Nutrition Center. Here she helped serve meals to the elderly. It was reported that she never missed a day of working at the food bank. So it was especially odd when, on September 25th, 1981, she didn't sign up to volunteer, and even more odd that she didn't provide a reason for her not signing up. This was very uncharacteristic of her. Another uncharacteristic thing was that she reportedly used the phone at the center that day. This was the first time that she had ever used the phone in all of the years that she had been volunteering at the food bank. It is unknown who she called and what she and the person spoke about. No long-distance charges had appeared on the bill, suggesting the call was local. And her family and friends all recalled that they had not spoken to her that day. So who was she talking to?
Yeah.
But maybe the reason she didn't sign up on September 25th was that day, she and her 2 friends, Trula Gruder and Pauline Red Cannon, all decided to go hiking together.
Dave, Pauline, and Polly.
Yeah. But she goes by Red. If weather permitted, Polly would try to hike every day, though hikes usually never got in the way of her volunteering. So even though she was going hiking this day, weird that she wasn't volunteering. The 3 women met on the 25th to enjoy the weather by going on their usual walk together. Before she left, Polly made a spaghetti sauce that she and Bob would have for dinner that night when she returned home from her hike. The 3 women met up and headed off to the Deep Creek Trail together. This particular trail is a moderately challenging hike, but Polly knew it well as she had hiked it countless times. Everything was normal for the 3 women, with neither Red nor Trula saying that anything out of the ordinary had happened. The only thing that was different with this hike was that Polly was walking slower than she normally did, but this didn't concern her friends as they jokingly teased her about it. Then around 4 p.m., while still on the hike, Polly suddenly sped up and passed Trula and Red. When she was about 75 yards away, she walked over a hill and was out of sight. That was the last time that anyone ever saw Polly Milton.
What?
When Polly sped up, Red and Trula were not fazed. They kept their current pace, assuming that just over the hill they would catch up with Polly. But when they crested the hill themselves, she was nowhere to be seen. Near where this happened, just to note, there was a parking lot close by, but it was also the parking lot kind of where their trailer was situated. Anywho, the 2 assumed that Polly had just headed home, because they lived in the trailer steps from the trailhead. So Trula and Red walked over to the Milton camper and arrived there around 4:30 p.m. When they got there, Polly wasn't there either. And Bob said that the last time he had seen Polly was just before she left to go on the hike. Incredibly worried, Bob began calling anyone who might know where his wife was or who had heard from her, but this yielded no results.
3 women go out on a hike.
Mm-hmm.
2 come back.
Mm-hmm.
No one's like, what the fuck?
I mean, they've always gone and hiked together. And
and they always came back.
Yeah.
She just sped walk ahead and then poof, gone.
Yeah.
I don't believe it for a fucking second.
Why? They're like really good friends.
So were the people who did the whole Slender Man thing.
That's a good point. Trula and Red told their respective husbands that Polly was missing. The husbands immediately went to Deep Creek Trail and retraced the route the women had taken but found nothing. They questioned hikers who they had passed along the way, and no one had seen a woman matching Polly's description. At 6 p.m., she was reported missing, and an intensive search for her began.
I don't care how fucking fast you walk. There's just no way you can speed walk past someone, make it so far ahead. Like, I understand, like, there being a hill and you might lose sight of them, but they're not walking that slow that she could disappear that fast. That doesn't make any sense. That's so sketchy. And I can't believe everyone's just like, oh my God, I can't believe she's missing. And I'm just like, I can't believe you don't think that they had something to do with it.
I actually never had that thought either.
What?
Yeah, that was not a thought in my brain.
That just doesn't make any sense.
The trail was immediately closed to the public for 4 days.
Like if someone grabbed her, they would have heard her scream.
Yeah. We'll get to theories, don't you worry. So over those 4 days, 150 people searched, and there were 9 canine teams searching the woods for Polly. They covered approximately 100 miles of trails, creeks, and forest, but they found nothing. No signs of a struggle, no signs that anyone had erratically left the path, nothing. The dogs did hit on her scent that was on a downed tree along the trail, but park rangers didn't believe this was significant, believing that Polly had just stopped there whenever to rest momentarily. But her friends and family knew that Polly would never stray from the path. She was afraid of snakes, so she would have stayed on the safer trail. And she was an experienced hiker, one who knew that it was much safer to remain on the trail. So at this point, law enforcement had a theory. They said that foul play was not suspected, considering it implausible. So Polly was 5'10" and weighed 180 pounds. They didn't think that she could be abducted so quietly and without a struggle in the brief window of time that they were working with.
Correct. But there were 2 people that were just fucking with her.
I really don't think it was them. Like, I think with how everything was reporting it wasn't them. Her family didn't believe it, but law enforcement thought that she may have left the trail willingly. Investigators also believed that Polly was no longer in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park anymore at all. Quote, if she had been in the park, the dogs would have found her. They were well trained, said Park Ranger Dennis Burnett. Park officials told the press on October 2nd, 1981, that evidence suggests that Polly exited the park in a vehicle. Remember, there was a parking lot nearby, probably on her own free will. But they weren't able to answer where she went, why, or who she went with. During their investigation, searchers and investigators did come up with some weird information. So while on the hike and after she disappeared, all Polly had on her, aside from her clothing, were a pack of cigarettes, her wedding ring, and a diamond-studded white gold wristwatch. She left behind her medication, ID, money, and purse. So things that she would most likely have taken with her if she assumed she would be gone for a bit. Back in 1977, so 4 years prior, she had been prescribed Valium as a muscle relaxant, but at the time she vanished, she was no longer taking it. However, her husband was on Valium at the time, and he said that he noticed his pills went missing around the time that Polly did. And this one is really sad, but Bob was so distraught on the night of his wife's disappearance that he had to be hospitalized.
I do feel very bad for Bob. So I think these bitches 100% killed her.
I really don't.
No question in my mind.
So do you think if you, me, and Jesse went on a hike, and like Jesse disappeared, we don't know that they are either.
Right, but the fact that they're not even suspected is crazy to me.
But maybe
they were literally the last ones with her. They already ruled out that she couldn't have just been taken by force because it happened in too quick of a time
But then
span.
So say you, me, and Jesse went on a hike and Jesse disappears.
That's the perfect cover. Why would her best friends kill her?
Depression was looked into as a theory for why Polly vanished. It always is. Her mother had passed away in 1977, and Polly did suffer through a dark period of depression following that, but apparently by 1981 she was doing better. Then we have what Trula and Red reported about part of their conversation they had with Polly during their final hike. They said that during the hike, they had been teasing Polly about a man from the Bryson City Presbyterian Church Nutrition Center, saying that he was clearly interested in her. Polly didn't deny this, but she was hesitant to keep speaking about this man. But at the time, her friends didn't think this was odd as she was a pretty private person anyways. But overall, they both said that Polly seemed to be in good spirits that day. But then Tom Harris, a pastor at the church Polly attended, said that he had reason to believe Polly was having an affair. He didn't elaborate on this, though. He also said that while Polly did seem sad recently, she did not seem suicidal in his opinion. Fred, her father, had also visited her earlier that month and said that he didn't notice anything unusual with her behavior or mood. So sadly, without much evidence to go on, the case quickly became cold. But just a few months later, something strange happened. She disappeared in September of 1981, and we're now at April 14th of 1982. A check made out to Polly was cashed. The check was for the interest on a bank certificate. The other weird part, it was cashed at the Birmingham Trust National Bank in Birmingham, Alabama, conveniently where some of Polly's family lived. Unfortunately, the bank teller had no recollection of the person who cashed the check and could not provide a description of the person. The person's identity remains a mystery, but some believe that it corroborates the original theory that police had that Polly ran away and was still alive, having started a new life elsewhere. Following her disappearance, Bob sold their Airstream and moved back to Florida, where he was admitted to a nursing home. In the following years, there have been multiple reports of sightings of Polly from Florida to Alabama, as well as many other states, but none could be substantiated. And people believe that she could have easily run away and like started a new life because she was on like her third husband. She didn't have any kids. She didn't really have anything tying her to an area.
I suppose.
So on hubpages.com, they had a poll at the end of an article asking what people think happened to Polly in the Great Smoky Mountains. 1,824 people took the poll. 4% believe she was a victim of foul play. 7% believe she got lost on the trail and died from exposure or an animal attack. 7% also think, quote, something even stranger happened. Then the majority at 81% believe that she ran away and started a new life elsewhere. But even today, no one knows what happened to Polly that day in the woods.
I do.
I don't think her friends killed her.
I do. And I hope that they're listening to this and they're like, oh, shit.
Mackenzie is onto us.
Because I'm just like, maybe they didn't. Maybe you're right. They're her best friends. They didn't do it. But at no point, no one is like, well, you were the last ones with her. You were on a hike, so it's not like it's a crazy busy area. They clearly do this often. So it's almost routine-like. And she's been walking slow, which they're making fun of. And then all of a sudden, she speed walks ahead, disappears, and doesn't wait for them.
See, that's why they're thinking maybe she left. Like that she was doing that to get away from them, to like leave them behind, get in the car with this person in the parking lot and leave. But like we have to think about how easy it is for people to disappear. Like we have Dennis Martin who went behind a bush and disappeared. We have the girl
He's a 6-year-old.
We have the 16-year-old
in
girl
1969
on her hiking trip who went into like was walking with her school.
But she said she was by a parking lot and her trailer wasn't too far away.
Right. So that's why people think like that's why she wouldn't have waited for her friends. They think she was disappearing, like going off with like somebody. Or, but it's just easy for people to disappear in the woods. Like we have all of those stories of people disappearing.
Or their story is absolute bullshit because it doesn't make any fucking sense. And they killed her probably most likely at the start of it.
But then where would they put her body?
I don't know.
They would have had 30 minutes to put her body somewhere.
It was only a 30-minute hike?
No, I guess from the time that they said she was acting weird. But so they left whenever and they got back at 4:30.
Right.
Where would they have hid her body? Because the entire woods were searched.
Well, like we said, shit goes missing.
Oh my God. So I have some things to leave you with. If you want to go hiking, it's important to plan your trip ahead of time.
What? Go ahead. Nothing.
What?
Nothing.
What?
It's just sketchy. It's a routine thing that she did. She did it with these people. She's making plans to come back or else she wouldn't have made that sauce for her and her hubby.
Or it was a ploy to show, hey, I'm going to start a new life, but I'm going to make it look like I'm going to come back.
If there's anyone that I'm telling I'm starting a new life for, it's my best friends.
Not unless you don't want them to come find you.
Why wouldn't you want your best friends to come find you?
If you're starting a new life.
Why would she be starting a new life if she was happy?
We don't know if she was happy.
But she wasn't unhappy.
We don't know if she wasn't unhappy.
So if we don't know if she was unhappy or not, how can we make the leap that she started a new life?
I don't know. That's what the police have said.
Stupid. Doesn't make any sense. I'm going to look it up. I want to know what the actual statistic is of people who have just walked off and started a new life.
Ooh, if we can remember when we finish this recording, we can look it up and talk about it for your section.
Because it just seems like a crazy theory.
It is.
And I definitely agree, like in 1981, it probably would have been easier to do
way
that
easier than
like
now.
2008.
Yeah.
But it's still just, I think what gets me is that I'm like, maybe her best friends didn't do it. They're her best friends. They love her. They're sad, whatever. Maybe you're right. But what's crazy to me is at no point no one was like, we should maybe suspect you because you were technically the last people with her.
I mean, maybe they did, but I just didn't find any articles that said that they looked into them.
Then clearly they didn't look very hard.
Yeah.
Like even like, I don't know, maybe I'm just a skeptical person, but like if I'm at home, my husband goes for a hike with his two buddies and they come back and they're like, well, where is he? I'm like, he was fucking with you. What do you mean, where is he? Like, you were literally the last ones to see him.
We don't know.
I would never kill you. So no one would have to worry about us going on a hike and you not coming back.
Thank you, Mackenzie.
Yeah. Unless we got like mauled by a bear and I couldn't carry your dead body with me. But then I would bring people back to where it was.
Thank you.
But if I was like, okay, but you just got mauled by a bear, like I ran faster than just farted.
I thought that was you moving your computer. You totally could have passed it off. Hey, that's why I go to the gym. I'm not being outrun by anyone.
You know, then I'd come back and get your mauled body and take it with me.
Okay, question.
Yeah.
Best friend question. We're running in the woods from a bear.
Mhm.
Okay. You see that I'm about to step in a pothole.
Is it a pothole if it's in the woods?
A hole. And you see this hole, and I'm like looking back at the bear, and I don't see the hole. Are you going to let me step in the hole knowing that I'm going to trip and die, and that I'm going to trip and that the bear can get me then?
No, because I look down when I'm walking. So you can imagine I'm looking down if I'm running too.
So you'd warn me of this pothole
I'd probably push you.
away from the pothole?
Yeah. Or like drag you to the side.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, pass the best friend test.
Yeah. If I saw it,
Thank you.
100%. Because I can't walk away from this situation with too much guilt. So I have to make sure that I've done everything
That's true.
to make sure that both of us could be safe.
And if it just is that I just ran slower, you're like,
which even then I would have been like, somehow it's my fault. Because she should have been able, she's the runner in the relationship. She should have been able to do, it's my long legs. I should have chopped my legs off.
I should have run on my knees.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't let you die because of the amount of guilt that I would have over it, even if it wasn't my fault.
Good.
So that would just be enough.
Solid foundation for this friendship.
Well, I think it's pretty good because you don't understand my superpowers when I'm anxious. And I need to make sure something happens. It's like, you know, when your mom got super strength to open the elevator.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like that adrenaline. It'd be adrenaline plus anxiety fear, which is a double whammy. I get a double dose.
Superpower.
And so now I'm not only just looking out for myself, I'm looking out for you.
Ugh.
Because I'm so anxious that I will be blamed. And, you know, yeah.
It's not that I want you to live. I just don't want to be blamed.
I do, but I know myself well enough to know at the end of the day, the mental toll that would take on me if you died is strong enough that I would make sure we both made it out of those fucking woods.
Good. I'm glad I have you on my side for when we're running from an imaginary bear.
If there's anything I can do, because I'm not a fighter, I don't freeze. I'm a flyer. I'm a flyer. I'm not one of those people that turns towards anything. You know, you've read those stories about someone, I think it was you, who was reading the story about someone going to like pull someone out of a fire or something like that. I think it was you. Maybe it was somebody else. I don't know. Some normal Joe Schmo.
Mm-hmm.
Something was caught on fire. He was like rescuing this person, like trying to pull them out. He's not a firefighter or volunteer. Like he doesn't do that on the side. Just a regular guy. And like, I was like, that would never, ever be my instinct.
No. Mine
Especially
either.
for a stranger.
I was telling mom that too. I was like, the reason why, because there was a time when I think everyone wanted to be like an FBI agent.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I want to do that so badly. And then I was like, I'd have to run to the gunshots.
Right.
My instinct is to run away from the gunshots. So that's when I was like, maybe that's not the field for me because I won't run towards the gunshots.
The only time I would run towards anything is if I obviously would be saving someone. The only way I would save someone is if I'm emotionally attached to them.
Right. Like if it's for my family or my friends, I'm running there.
Yeah.
But if I don't know what's going on, I'm running the opposite way.
Yeah. Like in a school,
Yeah.
my children come first.
Right.
Right. And I'd save them. Outside of a school, I will push your child down. Every man for himself.
Oh my God. Let the
Not
bear get the
your
child.
Not your child.
Oh, thank you.
You specifically, Lauren. No, your child counts in my category of the children that I will.
My future child. I don't have a child yet.
Yeah.
Let's not spread anything.
I have. Right now, there's only one child, Lucas, because that's my only friend who's had a child.
All other children, if they're not in my classroom, meh.
Yeah. And they're not like my best friend's children.
Meh.
I can't stand you. Like, truly. I think you're very annoying.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you're telling us about how to be safe while hiking?
Yeah. So it's important to plan your trip ahead of time. Take enough water and snacks, wear proper clothing, print out a map or have it downloaded on your phone. Don't go a different route because you think it looks fun. Inform friends and family where you plan to go and when you plan to return.
Don't let your brother lead.
Don't let your brother lead, even if he thinks he knows the way.
And don't let him convince you for 5 miles that
The
you'll
parking
get
lot's
there.
closed. Taking a mirror and whistle could also help you be found should you get lost. I thought the mirror was very interesting.
Reflective.
400 people go missing in Tennessee every year. Maybe more than we think are missing in the woods.
Probably.
And those are disappearances in the Great Smoky Mountains.
Wow. I'm still obsessed with the first one. I cannot believe she went missing on a field trip. And then you have the audacity to tell me about a woman that was on a hike with 2 other fucking people, disappears very quickly, by the way, of them being behind her. Like
That's why I had to cover that one because I was like, this one's wild.
I'm like, she didn't just start walking faster than you and get 75 yards ahead and then poof, gone.
Maybe.
It's a hike. And especially if it's at the end of the hike.
But so many people
You're
go
tired.
missing. So many people go missing in natural forest.
Because their best friends that they went on a hike with killed them.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying it's possible.
But there were no signs of a struggle. The police even said that.
that they could find.
Things go missing in the forest all the
Obviously,
time.
if you're going to commit a murder with someone, you've planned this out.
Mm-hmm.
So they probably planned it out.
But then how about her acting so weird the days leading up to it?
Was she, or did people just start saying that because she disappeared?
No, because she didn't go to a shift. Like, she didn't sign up for it when she always signed up for shifts. She used a phone in the, center that she had never, ever used before.
Right. But, here's my thing. Are people looking at that as weird because...
I'll be like, yeah, if she hadn't disappeared, would they not have thought it was weird?
Correct.
I don't know.
What do we start saying to ourselves in order to make reason for why things happened?
I don't know, man.
Maybe she ran away with the church guy in Alabama.
That's what people think.
I mean, that would be the best option because that would mean she's alive.
Yeah.
So...
Because, she had been on, her third husband. So clearly, sticking with the husband didn't mean anything. And she didn't have kids. She had nothing tying her down.
Yeah, I just think the friends should at least be suspected.
And maybe they were, but I just didn't find anything about it.
Then they weren't suspected enough. They should have been on the list. And the fact that no Reddit, web sleuth, whatever, hasn't put that forward too.
Right, actually. That's weird.
I'm like, no one's thought of this except for me? That's crazy.
Maybe there was something. I just didn't look far enough into
You
it
just
because
believe
my
in-
notes also got really, really long.
You just believe in the power of love and friendship too much for it to possibly believe it could be your friends.
Yeah, because we've been friends for 20 years. Of course I believe in the power of love and friendship.
You can't project onto other people. We would never kill each other.
On record, we would never kill each other.
But you never know how people are.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
You never know. I have to pee really bad, so we gotta stop this.
All right, Mackenzie, what story do you have for us?
I got a shorty but a goodie.
Okay, we love them.
It's not always about the length that matters.
It's the motion of the ocean.
Yeah. It's got a pretty good motion, I guess. And it's just an interesting story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Deep
in the heart of Tennessee, nestled among the rolling hills and whispering woods, sits a house with stories to tell. But these aren't just stories of country music legend Loretta Lynn. These are the echoes of spirits long past, lingering in the shadows of her historic ranch home.
Ooh.
From ghostly apparitions to chilling voices in the night, the Hurricane Mills estate is known as one of the most haunted celebrity homes in America.
Of course it is.
Yes. But what lurks behind the walls of this iconic mansion, and who, or what, has been trying to make its presence known? Tonight we step inside Loretta Lynn's haunted ranch, uncovering its eerie past, the spine-tingling encounters that have left even skeptics shaken, and the spirits that might still be calling this place home. So turn down the lights, get comfortable, and let's explore the ghostly side of country music history.
This sounds like the intro to a scary show.
As I wanted it to.
Oh.
ChatGPT followed its directions. So before we go into her house, just a little about Loretta Lynn, if you don't know.
I don't.
She was born April 14th, 1932. She died October 4th, 2022. So recently.
Oh, yeah.
Some of her notable achievements is obviously she was a country music icon. She was the first woman to win the CMA Entertainer of the Year in 1972.
Amazing.
She has multiple Grammys and CMA awards, and she has a best-selling autobiography, Coal Miner's Daughter.
Wow. I literally know nothing about her.
I only know the song.
What song?
Coal Miner's Daughter.
Oh.
The one she's like most famous for. I also hear her in like all the country songs too. Like she's always mentioned, like her name.
Wow.
You don't really listen to country though.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
I used to.
Yeah, but like the true honky tonk Hank
Yeah.
shit, really?
Used to, yeah.
I'm surprised then. I don't know if I couldn't, obviously I can't sing the song,
No, you can't.
but I know it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Your lack of mouthing the correct words
No,
said
knowing
otherwise.
as in I'm aware of its
Oh.
existence, not knowing the lyrics.
Okay. Big difference there.
Exactly. As you can see, I don't know the lyrics. Loretta Lynn rose from humble beginnings in Butcher Hollow. I guess I could have really sang along because I have some of the words right here.
You really could have. You know the whole thing.
Butcher Hollow, Kentucky, to become one of the country's music most influential artists. Growing up in a coal mining family, as we know,
Coal miner's daughter, yes.
she married at 15 and started writing songs while raising her children. Don't ask about how old her husband was.
30 years her senior.
No, thank God.
How
He was
old is
like
she?
21.
And she was 15.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's not as awful, but that's still not great.
Still icky.
Yeah, it's still icky.
But it was Kentucky. I'm
Damn
sure.
Kentuckians.
Right, like 15 and 21, like probably didn't even bat an eye.
What year?
Probably 19. Wait. Who was 10 plus 5? 1948.
Oh.
So not surprising. And it's in
Right.
Kentucky. Like I feel like that probably just became a problem for them
Yeah.
recently. Anyway, her breakthrough came in the early 1960s with hits like Honky Tonk Girl and You Ain't Woman Enough to Take My Man.
Oh. She is sassy.
Known for her bold songwriting,
Yep.
Lynn tackled controversial topics like divorce, birth control, and the struggles of working class women, setting her apart from many of her contemporaries.
Wow.
Her signature song, Coal Miner's Daughter, became a defining anthem, later adapted into an Oscar-winning biopic. Over a career spanning 6 decades, she released more than 50 studio albums, earned countless awards, and remained a trailblazer for female country artists. In her later years, she continued to record music with albums like Van Leer Rose in 2004, produced by Jack White, introducing her to a new generation of fans. Loretta Lynn's legacy is one of resilience, authenticity, and unwavering voice for women in country music. By the late 1960s, Loretta Lynn was already a rising country music star, traveling constantly for performances while raising her growing family. Wanting a peaceful place to settle down with her husband, Oliver Doolittle Lynn, and their children, Loretta started searching for a home in Tennessee. She came across Hurricane Mills, a sprawling 1,500-acre property in Humphreys County, about 70 miles west of Nashville. The centerpiece of the estate was a stunning white-columned antebellum mansion originally built in the mid-1800s. Yes, it was a plantation home.
Yeah.
The moment she saw it, Loretta fell in love with the place and knew it was where she wanted to put down roots. Anthony Bruto, which every time I'm writing this, you don't talk about Bruno. I know it's Bruto, not Bruno, but still.
But close enough.
It's been in my head all day. Anthony Bruto is the general manager of Loretta Lynn's ranch and grandson of the country music legend. He did an interview with Masterton, Tennessee in 2023 and explained, quote, "It was abandoned, so they stayed on the porch that night, and Loretta said she wanted to buy it. The one catch to buying the White House on the hill was that it came with a whole town." Yeah. That's when the Lynn family became proud owners of Hurricane Mills, Tennessee.
Oh my gosh.
Loretta and Doolittle bought the ranch in 1966, transforming it not only into their family home, but also into a country music landmark. The property had everything they wanted: rolling hills, creeks, and space for their growing number of horses. Over the years, they expanded the ranch to include a campground, motocross track, recording studio, and a museum dedicated to Loretta's life and career.
Did she ever have kids?
Yeah.
Oh, because it was just funny. It was like, and for their growing number of horses.
Oh. Well, that's hopefully that was growing faster than the amount of children they had.
You don't know.
I don't know how many kids she had, but yeah, that's why she also has a grandson.
Oh, yeah. No, it was just funny.
Yes, I know what you mean. When they first purchased the property, it was only, 1,500 acres, give or take? 1,450 acres. So 1,500 if you round.
Wow.
Loretta said, quote, "I'd come home and he'd have 300 or 400 more acres bought. Now somebody's got to pay for that, right?" As the estate grew, some new buildings were added and others renovated. Today, the ranch includes a one-room schoolhouse, a post office, and a general store, a 19th century stone mill along Hurricane Creek, a dam, and 2 bridges.
Oh my gosh.
Plus all the other stuff mentioned before.
Yeah.
It was listed on the National Registry of Historic Places in 1999. Though Loretta and Doolittle lived for several years in the plantation house, they eventually moved out in the late 80s after all their children had grown up. They moved instead to a smaller cabin on the property. You can sleep there in one of the cabins.
That would be kind of fun.
No.
Well, I guess I don't know the haunts yet.
I think it happens just in the main house.
The haunts?
Yeah.
Well, then why not a cabin?
Because I don't want to.
There's probably running water
Yeah, but
and electricity.
But what if the ghosts get curious?
They won't.
You know,
If they haven't gotten curious by now, I don't think they will when we go.
they're pretty freaking special.
We are.
So,
I mean, maybe.
exactly. Hurricane Mills wasn't just a home. It became an attraction for fans.
It was a house.
Loser. Just a boulder? It's a rock. I saw a TikTok where the person was like, she was like, what SpongeBob quotes do you constantly say? And she went over the ones she said. I can't remember what they were. So people were commenting. And I didn't see one for what I said. I said, two.
Count them.
No. You got to get the whole text.
Okay.
Two. ... Count them. Two. ... Marshmallows.
The amount of times that we fit that into conversation is wild.
Anytime someone just, if you say how many and they say two, immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My person at work who used to quote SpongeBob quotes with me has left. And so I don't have him to quote SpongeBob quotes with me anymore. Like someone said a striped sweater and I said, the best time to wear a striped sweater. And I didn't have him there to complete is all the time.
I would have completed it for
I
you.
know you would have.
Loretta often hosted concerts and events on the property, welcoming thousands of visitors who came to see where the coal miner's daughter lived. The estate remains a major tourist destination, offering tours of the house and a glimpse into Loretta's life offstage. Adding to its legend, the mansion is said to be haunted, with both Loretta and visitors reporting ghostly encounters, including apparitions of Confederate soldiers.
Oh.
Loretta herself, deeply interested in the paranormal, believed the house had a spiritual presence. So here are some of the happenings, if you will.
The haunted happenings.
The haunted happenings. Soon after the Lynn family moved into their new home, they started experiencing unexplainable events. One day, Loretta came home from a tour, and as the bus pulled into the driveway, she claimed she saw a woman in white on the balcony crying. When Loretta got inside, she asked the live-in nanny who this one was, and when the nanny went to check things out, she reported that there was nobody else home. So supposedly there's this thing called the Brown Room. It was originally someone's bedroom,
Okay.
but then he got spooked.
Oh.
But I don't know why they call it the Brown Room.
Is it painted brown?
I'm telling you, I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know if it's like an innuendo for something inappropriate. I don't know if it's a controversial name. I don't know if he freaked out and shit his pants and that's why. I don't know.
Either I like that option or that it was painted brown.
I feel like because
As my two favorite options.
no one, at least that I saw, elaborated on why it's called the Brown Room, just the fact it's called the Brown Room. I don't know. It says to me not good.
Okay.
But it's fine because no one's allowed in this room anyway.
Okay, good.
Because it is considered the most chilling spot in the whole house.
Ooh.
One day, Loretta's son Jack awoke from a nap to someone tugging at his boots that he had forgotten to take off. So it was someone's room at some point.
Helpful.
He looked at the foot of his bed and saw a Confederate soldier trying to remove his boots.
Ew.
Bruto told Mastered in Tennessee, quote, a common thing in the Civil War was they would strip the dead of their uniforms, weapons, or boots because there was such a shortage of these materials.
Oh, no.
Needless to say, he got out of bed and ran.
Yeah.
Afterwards, Jack and his brother Ernest refused to sleep in that room. It's now also off limits to visitors, the only room in the house where outsiders aren't allowed to go.
I wonder why.
Maybe because you get so freaked out you shit your pants.
Maybe.
I like that.
Obviously, they don't want to have to clean up shit stains.
Exactly. I don't blame them. After a bit of digging into the area's history, Loretta and her family discovered that a Civil War battle was fought right on the property, and there were more than 18 Confederate soldiers that are said to possibly be buried on the grounds of the Loretta Lynn ranch cabins. See, the cabins. Confederate soldiers buried there.
Totally haunted then.
100%. They also uncovered stories of those that had lived in the mansion long before Loretta and her husband fixed it up in the 1960s. Not like haunted stories, just like stories about these people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Bruto also told Tennessee's WJHL News that, quote, the power happened to go out one night, and I was rounding the corner to get back into my room. The chandelier was the only light that was on in the house. What's so strange about this is the entire house is on the same electric breaker. There's no possible way the chandelier could have been on while the other lights were off.
Interesting. Was the chandelier already on, or did all the other ones go off and then that one came on?
I don't know. He rounded the corner, so it was just on when he saw it.
Interesting. Creepy.
Yeah. Loretta herself reports that she had seen a woman in mourning wandering the area where the cabin stood. So she sees the full body apparition both inside the home and in the property's graveyard. The spirit is supposedly Belua Anderson, a woman who passed away over a century ago from a broken heart after her baby had died.
Oh.
Lynn also tells of a time she tried to contact the spirits of her haunted house via seance. The singer and her closest friends were successful in the endeavor when they were able to speak to a spirit who called himself Anderson.
Ooh.
The spirit didn't seem too happy to talk to them because it started angrily shaking the table until it slammed onto the floor and broke.
Okay, bye, Anderson.
Afterwards, Loretta searched for answers about who this Anderson man might be, and they discovered that one of the original owners of the house was named James Anderson.
Wow.
He was born on May 29th, 1858, and was the founder and builder of the Hurricane Mills plantation, who was among those buried at the property.
That's kind of cool.
It is said that his spirit and his family, because I think the lady, her last name is also Anderson. It is said that his spirit and his family are the ones who haunt the home to this day. They have been seen by members of the Lynn family and by staff and visitors. Visitors report seeing full-bodied apparitions standing at the top of the stairs, on the balcony, and even along the walkway. Housekeeping reports that after they spend time straightening the albums that hang on the wall, they find them crooked a few moments later.
That's so annoying.
Even the ranch manager states that spirits will do things to let you know that they are still around. The ranch has been open for tours since 1988, and during one particular tour, the guide was standing on the staircase in the foyer explaining to the guests that Loretta claims the spirits don't like when you mess with the picture frames. The guide was not a believer in ghosts and began to address the crooked frame.
Oh my God.
She started getting strange look from the tourists' faces because a shadowy kind of figure had appeared behind her. The guide was pushed off the second step onto the floor, and all the guests ran out of the house with the tour guide close behind them.
Oh my gosh.
Bruto's dad was the general manager at the time and also not a believer, so he decided to take the same tour group back and prove that there were no spirits in the house. He moved the frames and said, "See, nothing happened." Right then, a big black snake slithered out from underneath the steps. All the tourists ran right out the front door again. Bruto recalled, he was like, "Well, I give up." Bruto goes on to say, "It's kind of one of those things, unexplainable, and could be coincidental, but, makes a really great story."
Yeah.
Supposedly, one of her sons, I think it was the Jack guy, supposedly he says he learned to pray from one of the ghosts. Like I forget where he was on the property, but he saw a Confederate soldier, and I guess they were praying. And I only saw this in a couple places, so I didn't elaborate, but supposedly he learned to pray. I didn't understand what that meant.
Interesting.
Yeah. I didn't know that there was an art to it.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Guess when you can only learn from Confederate soldiers.
Supposedly. A review of the Loretta Lynn Ranch claims it is genuinely haunted. One group visited the home without knowing its history and took photos inside, as many visitors do.
Mm-hmm.
Later, they noticed a thick gray mist in the images, something they hadn't seen with the naked eye. A family member confirmed that there was no fog or mist that night and only the glow of a few campfires. Along with the mist, several orbs appeared in their photos, reinforcing their belief in the ranch's paranormal activity. After the visit, one of the guests saw a segment about the ranch on our favorite paranormal investigation show. I'm sure you can guess which one.
Ghost Adventures?
Yeah. Upon learning about its haunted reputation, she was stunned to realize she had unknowingly captured spirits on film.
That's kind of fun.
In conclusion, even after her passing in 2022, Hurricane Mills remains a symbol of Loretta Lynn's legacy, blending her deep roots in country music with her love of home and family. Bruto shared with Mastered in Tennessee, quote, "Whether you're a believer or not, when the words come from Loretta Lynn, it's hard not to believe them." And that is the haunted Loretta Lynn Ranch.
Would you go visit this ranch? Not sleep in the cabins, not do any of that. Just go take one of the tours that they have.
No,
Why?
I'm just not interested in Loretta Lynn. If I'm going to go somewhere for a tour, which is going to give me information, I want it to be about someone I am interested in.
I get that. But say someone's like, "Oh, you can do this for free. You're in the area." No.
It's just not an interest. It's not
Okay.
necessarily because it's haunted. It's just there's not when I talked about that one park that was big with has all these different types of houses and stuff like that are said to be haunted by people. I think it's in Hawaii or something.
I vaguely remember, yes.
But it talks about history at that time and when you can go.
Oh, yeah.
That I would actually be interested in learning and hearing about. So I would be more inclined to go to something like that where I'm also interested in whatever topic they're cover.
Even if it's haunted.
I said I'm more likely to go. I didn't say I will go.
So, okay.
I just said
Take your notes.
on the continuum of absolutely not to okay, sure. It's closer to
Right
okay,
there.
sure than
Okay.
absolutely not because I'm actually interested in the topic. I'm sure Loretta Lynn's life is fascinating.
I'm sure.
And, you know, maybe a great person. I don't know. I didn't know her. I think it's really cool that she's like, yeah, my house is definitely fucking haunted.
Oh, yeah. We
I
love when people recognize it.
Love when people do that. But I just don't care about learning about her life.
Yeah. I mean, I feel the
learned
same way
enough.
about that. Yeah. You gave us a good amount of information for me to now know who she is without
Like, I
knowing
know she's a
too
big
much.
deal. I know coal miner's daughter is like her thing.
I think that's pretty much all we need to know.
I'm pretty sure she got like a Lifetime Achievement Award at one of the CMAs. And I was like, who the fuck is that?
Wow.
Yeah.
She's big.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure she's probably in the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Ooh, let's see how many people she has on Spotify. 1.3 million monthly listeners. Okay.
Yeah.
So on Spotify, that's not too bad.
No. I mean, I'm sure if we go to Tennessee, she'd be a much bigger deal.
Probably.
We also don't really listen to country music. Like,
No, not much anymore.
I'm pretty sure we did because everyone else did around us.
I grew up listening to country music.
I didn't start listening to it until high school.
Oh.
I was very easily influenced up until like college. And then I finally was like, no.
Yeah,
do
no,
that.
we grew up listening to country music.
Because I hated it at one point and wouldn't let my mom play it.
Oh.
And then dad would only let me listen to whatever the fuck he wanted to listen to.
Mhm.
That was my only option.
So you better learn to like it.
Right. But she was classic rock.
Right.
So as long as I picked one of those CDs,
we were good.
we were good. But yeah, I think it was around like high school that I started liking it. And then it tapered off. And now I will only listen to it in the summer when I'm outside doing something. Like, that's it. Like, it's not
that's
like
the
I just
perfect
like
time.
it. It's just I'm not going to go seek it out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, interesting.
Mhm.
Interesting place about a lady I literally have no idea about.
Yeah, she's only like the most famous female country artist.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
I literally know nothing about her.
Which, like, I feel like you would think that, because I think about that concept too. I'm like, there's a lot of artists in my world that I'm like obsessed with, are a huge deal, or oh my God,
Yeah.
that I know that I could ask other people and they'd be like, who the fuck are you talking about?
Yes,
And I'm
100%.
like, what the fuck? And then very easily the other way.
Yeah.
There's people that I'm sure are a huge deal and greatly influential, whether it's to just that genre or elsewhere.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, who?
Yeah. Oh,
You know?
100%.
And it's just
100%.
like, to me, one, it goes to show everything's relative.
Mhm.
And number two, you are just not that as important as you think you are.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
Like,
Oh, yes.
some people really need to learn that. You probably are very, very, very important to the people closest to you.
Yeah.
But
You
outside
are.
of those people, I'm so sorry to tell you, but you're not as important as you think.
Well, we watched this one show called The Traders, and it brings on different people from different reality TV shows. So it'll be like Survivor and
I've
Real
heard of it.
Housewives and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's like the Real Housewives on there. I have no idea who you are.
Right, exactly.
Like, you can be talking about all of this. I can hear people talk about you. I don't know who you are.
Correct.
And I will never know who you are.
Correct.
The people on Survivor, I know who you are.
Right,
Like, I know you're a huge deal on Survivor.
right,
But Joe doesn't know that he's a huge deal.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I just think everyone should stay humble.
Stay
And
humble.
For me, because I'm a lifelong learner, I like it in the sense of like it gives me room to learn about other things and other people
Yeah.
and like their impact on things.
Ooh, yeah.
And I like that. Room to grow, not stay ignorant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mic drop. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. I'm just rambling at this point.
So stay scary then.
Stay safe.